going to talk about making events that have multiple team members. In order to reduce data entry and have cleaner data, the Extension Data Portal lets you make a single event record with multiple team member engagements. What does that mean? Well, if two people taught at the same event, they can share an event record and have their own engagement records linked to that event. Let's create a new event to see how this works. I'll be using the program listing, and I'll find a program that best fits what I taught. Let's use horses and equine. And I will click Create New Event Record. And I'm going to pick Educational Event. Individual instruction records are for individuals, so you cannot have additional team members. Next, I'm going to put in some basic information about the event. And since this is just an example, I'm not going to fill out all of the fields you normally would, but I'll put in a couple. So next, I will fill out my role. So I'll say that I was an instructor. I taught 50%. Now I'm going to add additional team members. So let's say that Teresa McCoy and Brian Butler helped me teach this event. I've searched for their names, I've added them, and now I will, after adding my reg data, and a success story, I'll be prompted to add information about their involvement. So first up is T. McCoy. I'll say she was an instructor who taught 25%. And Brian also was an instructor. Maybe he also was a discussion leader. And it will tell me that I've already allocated 75%, so I'm going to put 25% for Brian as the third teacher on this event. Finally, I could add indicators. And now my record has been created. So you can see over here that all of us are listed under program engagements on this single educational event. When I do this, T and Brian will get a notification. I'll show you that in a moment. But first, now that I'm on this record page, let's say I forgot to add someone. I can add another team member using this Add Team Member button. It looks very similar to what I saw in the record creation process. I'm going to search for Debbie Lewis, and I'll say she was an organizer for this event. I can either fill in her hours spent or leave it blank. Once it's in there, Debbie can come at a later date, click this drop down, click Edit, and she can add in her own hours spent and adjust her role if needed. Right now, all of us are indicated as teachers, so we have percent taught, and Debbie was an organizer, so she's still tagged to this event, but it's not going to show up on her teaching record report. Let's look at this from T's perspective. So I'm going to log in as T quickly. You can see she's got a bell up here. That's a notification. She actually has 3, but the one I want to look at is this first one. It says, a program engagement record has been added for you on Horses Are Fun. That's what I called my event. So once she logs in, she'll get this notification. She can click on it to go straight to that record. And you'll see it has a note here that if edits are needed, should contact the owner above. So right now that's Extension Data Portal. Normally that would be a person's name. So if she disagrees with the state or how many volunteers there were, or if there's a typo, she could say, hey, please update this. But for her own involvement, she can go ahead, click the drop down, click Edit, and maybe she disagrees and says, I was not a teacher at this event. She can actually uncheck teaching. She could take her role out and say she just organized. Or maybe she spent 5 hours instead of 2 hours. She can make any of those changes because it's her involvement on that event. So even though she can't edit the rest of the details on the event, that has to be done by the owner, she can always edit or delete her own involvement.